Most students think their biggest problem is a lack of motivation. But that's a lie. Motivation is just the surface. The real problem is that your brain is addicted to everything except studying. Social media, scrolling, short videos, even the little red notifications on your phone. They all hijack the chemical that controls your focus, your drive, your sense of reward. That chemical is dopamine. And here's the shocking truth. If you can control your dopamine, you can literally rewire your brain to crave studying the same way people crave junk food, games, or even addictive substances. Now, I know that sounds extreme. I know it sounds almost illegal, like something you're not supposed to know. But stay with me, because once you understand what I'm about to reveal, you'll realize that studying isn't hard. It isn't boring. It isn't painful. The only reason you've struggled is because your brain has been trained, without your permission, to chase distractions instead of results. Think about it. When you pick up your phone, you get instant hits of dopamine. Every scroll, every like, every notification gives your brain a tiny reward, and your brain learns fast. It learns that quick, easy rewards are better than long, delayed rewards. That's why you can waste hours on TikTok without even noticing. But 10 minutes of reading feels like torture. It's not because you're lazy. It's not because you're dumb. It's because your dopamine system is broken. Here's the part nobody tells you. The exact same mechanism that keeps you addicted to distractions can be reversed. And once you flip it, your brain will start craving studying in the same way it used to crave scrolling. Imagine sitting down with your books, and instead of feeling dread or boredom, you feel a rush. You feel alert. You feel hungry for more. That's what dopamine loading does. It hacks the chemical wiring of your brain so that studying becomes the most rewarding activity in your daily life. And that's why I call it illegal. Not because it breaks the law, but because it feels like you're breaking the rules of reality. You'll be doing something most students would kill for, studying for hours without forcing yourself, without struggling, without dragging your feet. Your brain will want it. It will demand it. And once that switch flips, you'll realize how powerless everyone else is, because they're trapped in the same loop of distraction you just escaped. So here's the choice you have to make. Do you want to keep living like everyone else, chasing tiny, meaningless hits of dopamine that lead to nowhere? Or do you want to load your dopamine into studying so every hour spent learning feels as addictive, as satisfying, as unstoppable as your favorite app? Because once you experience that, once you taste the rush of being addicted to progress instead of procrastination, you'll never go back. So, how does dopamine loading actually work? Let me break it down for you in a way your teachers, your parents, and even your so-called productivity gurus will never tell you. Because the truth is simple. If you don't learn how to control dopamine, dopamine will control you. Step 1. Starve the brain of cheap dopamine. The first step is almost cruel, but it's necessary. You have to strip your brain of the fake dopamine hits that keep it distracted. That means no endless scrolling, no pointless notifications, no constant background entertainment. At first, your brain will fight back. You'll feel restless, you'll crave the apps, the games, the comfort of wasting time. But that's exactly the point. Your brain has been overdosed on cheap dopamine for so long that it doesn't even know how to function without it. By starving it, you reset the system. And here's where it gets dark. The first few days feel like withdrawal. You'll feel uncomfortable, even anxious, like something's missing. But that missing feeling is proof that the rewiring has begun. Step 2. Load dopamine into studying. Once the brain is starved, you feed it again, but not with distractions. You feed it with studying. You deliberately connect the dopamine rush to the act of opening your books, solving a problem, writing notes. How? Through immediate micro-rewards. Instead of waiting for a grade weeks later, you create instant signals of achievement. For example, After every study sprint, you check something off a list. You mark visible progress. You use triggers like timing yourself and beating your own record. These small actions tell your brain, this feels good, this is rewarding, this is better than scrolling slowly but surely. The dopamine that used to be wired to distractions gets reassigned to your study sessions. It's almost like stealing back control from the apps that hijacked you. Step 3. Intensify the feedback loop. Now here's where it becomes dangerously addictive. Once your brain begins to taste the dopamine from studying, you amplify it. You study in focused bursts, then give yourself a powerful but controlled reward. Something your brain craves, but only after studying. That might be music, a snack, or even a few minutes of scrolling. But here's the trick. You don't let those things exist without studying first. Studying becomes the gateway drug. Your brain quickly learns, if I want pleasure, I have to earn it through studying. And when this loop takes hold, studying transforms from a chore into a craving. You'll catch yourself thinking about your next study session the same way addicts think about their next fix. That's not motivation anymore, that's obsession. Step 4. Anchor. Dopamine to progress, not distractions. Here's the final layer, and it's the most powerful. Once your brain is hooked, you stop rewarding yourself with meaningless pleasures. You let studying itself become the reward. You start connecting dopamine not just to the act of studying, but to the results of studying, the improvement, the mastery, the sense of domination over subjects that used to scare you. Every time you solve a problem you once thought was impossible, your brain fires dopamine. Every time you understand a concept faster than before, dopamine spikes again. At this point, studying stops feeling like work. It feels like leveling up in a game. And here's the secret. When you get here, you don't need external motivation. You don't even need discipline. The addiction itself pulls you in. You study because your brain now craves the rush of progress more than it craves distractions. And that, my friend, is dopamine loading. That's how you hack the chemistry of your brain and turn studying from something you avoid into something you can't stop doing. It's not motivation. It's not discipline. It's not some cheesy productivity hack. It's raw neurochemistry. And once you master it, you'll watch other students struggle while you quietly dominate, because they're fighting themselves, while you've trained your own brain to fight for you. And now you know the truth. Dopamine loading isn't just a study trick. It's a weapon most students will never discover because they're too busy drowning in distractions. But you've just been handed the blueprint to addiction-level focus. The question is, will you actually use it? Or will you scroll away and let your brain rot like everyone else's? Tell me this in the comments. If you could rewire your brain to crave one subject, math, science, history, anything, which one would it be? I want to see who's bold enough to admit where they want their addiction to hit hardest. Because the people who comment, they're not just viewers. They're the ones stepping into a different reality, where studying isn't suffering, it's obsession. So, what will you choose?